Hi, my name is John Drux with LiveCalif.com, doing a documentary commentary called Change. Today is July 14, 2012, and welcome to Change. We need change now. This documentary will run until the election day, at least in its current form. I'm wanting it to be part of the political campaign for a third-party candidate. And change started over a year ago. Basically, when I noticed that the president who won on change, promising change, wasn't delivering on his promise. And I've reached out to him many times. And I know trying to get a hold of the President of the United States of America isn't easy. But I tried. And several of the earlier videos are on subjects, my ideas of what we can do to change this country. Again, I'm a real estate broker in Fresno, California. My first documentary commentary is called The Short Sale of the American Dream. Please watch it if you own a home. If you're even living in any city that's been devastated by the housing market, when it comes down to it, the housing market's the backbone of the U.S. economy. We will not see a full recovery of the economy until we fix the housing market. Change is ideas, what we can do, what we can try at least. Because again, I've had 5 years to where I can't sell a house, so I've sat watching the news, basically shaking my head, basically asking myself, how can you fix all the problems that this country faces? If you talked about what doesn't need to change in America, you wouldn't be talking long, if you'd be talking at all. Everything needs to change in this country. Nothing makes sense. And it's because it's been bought. Your government has been bought. A fraction of the 1% are trying to buy our government, trying to buy our government officials, trying to buy our elections, trying to buy your vote. And there needs to be a loud message saying, my vote's not for sale. And you, as a rich, small minority, don't have any more votes than me. Change is part of a third-party movement. I'm wanting to go down to Venice Beach and start a third-party movement, and I'm hoping someone's willing to sponsor me, saying, I agree with a lot of things he says, because a lot of it's just common sense. Again, America is not living under common sense right now. A third-party movement, namely Gary Johnson. And again, it's not so much Gary Johnson, it's the whole idea of a third party. To let the Democrats and Republicans know the party's over. Enough is enough. We're tired of politics as usual. We need to be Americans first, especially at a time of crisis, because we are in a time of crisis. Our national debt is reaching $16 trillion. I'm guessing we're really bankrupt, and we just keep holding up these banks and everything else with hope that tomorrow's better. But that clock keeps ticking. That national debt clock is out of control. It's snowballing. We need to take drastic measures. Gary Johnson's saying he's going to be the people's president. And I hope that's true. Because I don't agree with everything Gary Johnson says or does. But again, if he's truly the people's president, hopefully he'll listen to the people, unlike our current president. Again, I've reached out to President Obama. I think he's a decent person, even though we have a lot of people in this country that hate him. They just don't hate him, they want him dead. There was actually just a D.C. police officer that was relieved of his duties, saying he was going to kill the First Lady. Why this man ever wanted to be President of the United States of America with small children is beyond me. And maybe that's why we just need a change. I waited until my kids were adults before I even thought of doing something like this, and it's actually one of the reasons I'm doing it. It's not only I want change, I want change for my kids. What kind of world are we leaving for our kids? Speaking of kids, the featured artist on LiveCalif.com went to high school with my son. He lost his dad at age 12 like I did. I'm hoping if nothing else comes of change, someone recognizes this kid's talent. Something he's worked on his entire life. And the basis of LiveCalif.com and change is the hippies had it right. We were told how to live over 40 years ago and we didn't listen. And this kid, I'm going to keep calling him a kid even though he is 21, because he's young enough to be my kid. This kid can sing the entire collection, the songs of the hippies, without the words in front of him. And sing it like no other. Sing it like he means it. And for all the people that have asked me, why are you doing this? Again, I'm doing a lot of this because of the kids. Can we really ask them to pay into a Social Security system that's going broke? Herman Cain called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. And he withdrew his statement the next day after taking heat. Imagine that. That's what everyone does. Withdraws their statement even though it's true. Our former governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, we learned a lot more about him than we thought, but at one time he did an interview and said marijuana is a leaf. And he had to retract that statement the next day under pressure. What people say is what they mean. And Herman Cain had it right. If this country keeps going in the same direction we are now, with that national debt ticking, tick, 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 we're not going to get it. Or at least our kids aren't going to get it. And the day that someone doesn't get paid Social Security, it is a Ponzi scheme. And I have some plans how to stop that. It starts with ending the wars immediately, becoming energy independent, securing our borders. How can you have a war on terror when the terrorists can walk right across our border? If the Mexican drug cartel can smuggle tons of marijuana under and across our borders, what makes you think a terrorist, one, can't walk across or under, and two, ship weapons of mass destruction under and over our borders? You can't have an immigration policy until you secure our borders. Endless illegal immigration, endless amnesty periods. That's our future until we secure our borders. And there's ways we can do it. It's not building a wall. We can become energy independent. We've had our troops sitting over in the Middle East for over 10 years. I have to think they have a pretty good idea of the oil industry at this point. And obviously, our politicians are well invested in the energy. The biggest thing we need to do is clean house. And again, electing a third-party candidate, namely Gary Johnson, and start an entire investigation of all levels of government. We have people working for themselves, not the public, even though the public's paying them. Complete investigation saying he is unable to work with the corrupt Congress. Complete investigation, complete disclosure. They'd be basically being warned during the campaign, this is going to happen if he's elected, that on Inauguration Day, if they're dirty, they better resign without their lifetime retirement, or they're going to be investigated, and if they're found to be unethical and worse, they will be jailed. They'll lose their job, they'll lose their retirement, they'll lose their health care. This country's been robbed, and it's time to stop. And a way to solve our national debt would be all these unethical and worse politicians. We can use the same laws as our government uses with drug dealers. Forfeiture laws, seize their assets, and pay off the national debt. This country's in trouble. It's time for the people to stand up. Again, if you take the hippie generation on down, we are a voting majority. The problem is, most of these people don't want to be involved in politics. They're sick and tired of our government. But we need to pull the heads out of the sand and become active. It's 115 days till the election. I have 115 days of my life to dedicate to the election of a third-party candidate, and I'm hoping there are others. I'm hoping an entire generation of hippies that got tired of the system, a generation below them, and all of our kids stand up right now. So, again, John Drux, livecalif.com, welcome to change. Everything you see on this website I've done myself, including building the website, and all the videos using a small digital camera. So you're going to have to excuse me while I turn off my camera, and have a great day.